Well, I'm going to take a few minutes then this evening, and I'm not going to keep you very long, but I want to talk to you a little bit about the pinyon jay, because it is a very special bird here in New Mexico. It's a bird that is a colonial species, occurs in large flocks. Out by my house out here on Hondo Mesa, flocks of 100 and some birds fly in together in a group to feed and find whatever food they can obtain out of my feeders there. But their main food is, of course, pinyon, hence their name. And pinyon is one of those perfect foods, one of the most perfect foods we know of. It's incredibly high in protein. These seeds have more protein in them than a piece of meat, a piece of steak. It's incredibly high in protein, all the essential amino acids. It's the perfect food, and this is the food they feed on. Coming in these flocks, again, after that first frost, when the cones open, they pick out the seeds, put them in their mouth, and fly to a tree on the south side of the tree, dump the seeds on the ground. Make a storage of seeds there, and all winter they come back and feed on those seeds when they're not at my feeders eating the grain I've got in there. But it's a very intricate relationship between those birds and these seeds. Now this relationship carries over in just an incredibly beautiful manner in the spring of the year, when it is suddenly time for these birds to find a mate. And again, using these seeds, actually I want to pass these around so you can all put some in your mouth and try them, because they're really good. They're really good.
Are these the birds that have like a light gray on the
Correct.
gray on the top and underneath they're gray?
Correct.
They're big.
Then they're big. It's a big bird.
Don't they have blue on their wings?
A little blue on the wings too, but they're pretty blue. It's bluish gray, kind of a mixture there. Anyway, the relationship between these pine seeds, these pinyon nuts, and the bird is just a very intricate relationship that's involved in their mating strategies. And in the spring of the year, after they've primarily consumed all of these seeds, it's time for them to select a mate. And a little part of my little event this evening is to kind of walk you through that mating procedure that the male and female birds undergo. The male will fly down in front of several females. And I'm going to use you too here as an example. So they're on the ground trying to find seeds, any insects they can find that are on the ground. And the male flies down in front of them and now starts that mate selection process. And the process involves, number one, that he stands up, puts his bill up in the air, turns around real slow.
They can see all sides.
So they can see all sides.
Okay.
And most importantly, they can see how tall he is. Because in birds, you want to have a mate that's about your same size, okay, for mating. And after he's turned around, then the second most important feature is that she has to make a decision. She has to make a decision on how healthy he might be. Okay. And one way they're doing that, when he turns around, she can see how those feathers are really healthy. That's one clue. But his second important feature that he does is that he does a dance. And these two females are sitting here and they're looking at the ground and say, who's this fool in front of us here doing this stuff? But he does this incredible dance. And this dance has been described in detail by an ornithologist at the University of New Mexico, Peter Ligon. And he worked his entire life on this part of the life cycle of this bird. But according to Ligon, the dance is incredibly complicated, with all sorts of really fancy footwork, twists and turns, twisting around, just showing them how healthy he really is. Okay, he can really do this dance well. Okay. As after he's danced for a little 3 or 4 minutes, he has his eye on one of them. Okay, they're not paying any attention over there yet. But he, in doing his final footwork in the dance, has selected one of them. And in this footwork, he makes kind of a figure 8 over in front of her and back again. Gets to the top of the figure 8, puts his wings on the ground, beats the wings over to her, and drops a pinyon seed in front of her.
How cool.
Comes back, looks around. How much she's going to pick it up? I don't know. She doesn't pick it up. So now he goes over, picks up the pinyon seed. Okay, not going to waste it. Got to reuse it. And now, again, selects another person, another lady, and does again a very incredible, much more complicated dance this time. Didn't work the first time. I got to get my footwork really together here. Walks over, makes the figure 8 again, flies over, drops the seed in front of the next one, and she picks it up. They become a couple for that summer. They fly up into the high mountains. She builds a nest, lays 2 eggs. Again, these are social birds, and so a male catching an insect on a tree flies to the nearest nest to feed who's ever closest. When the young are born, hatched out of the egg, she's kept that pinyon seed in her mouth all this time. And when the birds come out of the eggs, babies come out of the eggs, when they hatch, she crunches that pinyon seed up and feeds them a little bite of pinyon to tie them into this life cycle. So it's a really intricate relationship between the pinyon and the life cycle of these birds. Again, in the late summer, babies fledge, they come out, the parents group gathers them up and brings them back down to Arroyo Hondo, to our neighborhoods here, to teach them how to get those seeds out of the pine cones and ties them into that life cycle. So it's an incredibly intricate life cycle involving, again, one of our great native plants here and a bird that's necessary to keep them going. Now, the birds also serve to disseminate the seeds through the environment, because when they pile up this huge pile of seeds on the base of on the south side of a tree for winter food, and I get too close to that big piled up pile of seeds, they sound an alarm, and they all fly down and fill their mouths with these seeds and fly up on top of the mountain someplace to deposit them up there, fly back, and in that doing, they drop them out of their mouth, disseminate the seeds across the environment. So it's a great interactive life cycle of this wonderful tree that we have in our neighborhoods and this wonderful bird that has integrated the biology of this tree into their biology as well. Yes?
Is the elevation, what's the limit of the elevation for the bird and the tree?
For the bird, the birds go real high in the mountains in the summer. In the winter, they come down here. So they're down here now.
Oh,
Okay.
so this is where the seeds are.
This is where the food is right now. So they're going to feed all winter long on whatever they can find down here. They've got stored pinyon seeds up there on the south side of a tree. So on the south side of the tree, sun hits that south side, melts off the top of that seed pile, and those seed piles can be this big, this deep. Yeah, huge piles at the bottom of a tree.
They go up to Williams Lake.
And then they come back all winter. As the snow melts off the top of those seeds, they can feed on those seeds as a food source.
So the seed piles could be under any tree,
It can be under any tree.
because obviously pinyons only go
Right.
up to what, 8,000?
Oh, their beaks.
Yeah.
Yeah, break it right off. Yeah,
Shell's really hard.
it is. It's really hard. It's really hard. They've got strong beaks.
How
Yeah.
long does the female keep that seed between when she picks it up from the male?
A month.
Lays the egg and then they hatch?
A month. It is amazing, amazing life cycle.
Cool. Thank you, John.
Good. Thank you.
Yay!